secular energy, and we can see it throughout history. Whenever there has been a big shift in the consciousness of humanity, in the direction of where we're going, there has been chaos, there has been wars, there has been desperation, there has been worry, there has been strife. And once again, we are kind of creating that. Hi, and welcome to Oaklaw Door. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Claire Attio. For those that are returning subscribers, thank you, thank you, thank you. So today's video, today's creation, I'm going to be honest, I really don't know where it's going to be taking us. We shall see. I meditated on the energies, and there was so much kind of flying in, flying out within the meditation. But the one message that was repeated like a mantra was back to basics, back to basics, back to basics. And I was shown the 3 physical chakras. And knowing what's going on in the world, there is a lot of upheaval at the moment. There is a lot of chaos and fear being stirred up, and we knew this would happen. We knew 2024 was going to be like this. And so when I sat with that, when I was talking with my guides, is this why it's needed? Are we looking for that firmer foundation? That was very much what I was actually getting. But also, so that is one part of the message. That is one part of what we're going to be looking at, is building that secure foundation for ourselves energetically within our 3 physical chakras. But the other aspect that came in also, which is for another group of you, so take what resonates, was the shadow work, the deep, deep shadow work of healing that is needed in those 3 physical chakras to give you a firm foundation so that you can step into your power authentically and without fear. Still needs to be done. And we talked about this, or I talked about this, and many others talked about this as well last year with the Lion's Gate. I could see that bridge, and I encouraged everybody to get rid of what no longer functioned, chuck the bags over the bridge, as it were, before we kind of went to the Lion's Gate, because we knew these energies were coming in. We didn't know exactly what they were going to look like and how they would pan out, but we knew they were coming in and we knew what they were for. Therefore, our ascension, everything that is going on at the moment, is for our ascension so that we can attain those higher levels of consciousness. Unfortunately, humanity as a whole generally doesn't like change, and so the universe, the cosmos, the divine, God, whatever your belief system is creating a situation where we get so uncomfortable, we do something to create those changes. And it's that secular energy, and we can see it throughout history. Whenever there has been a big shift in the consciousness of humanity, in the direction of where we're going, there has been chaos, there has been wars, there has been desperation, there has been worry, there has been strife. And once again, we are kind of creating that. And let's not forget that let's not forget the fact that everything that exists in our reality is of our own creation, whether it's of our own personal creations or whether it's a collective creation of the now or the past or the future. Energy is fluid. There is no linear timeline. And so everything that is thought about and energy given to becomes a creation. And this is why a lot of us will not watch things like horror movies or crime movies, or because we're even though we are not participating, we are participating energetically in whatever we are watching. And this is why I won't stay on mainstream. I do not do any mainstream, and I'm very selective over what I watch. But I'm also got to the point where I'm very selective now as to who's in my inner circle. And we'll come to that at the end, because I've got a few kind of energetic tips that I'm going to give at the end, questions, check-ins for yourself, so that you can stay on a very grounded, very solid, very secure footing. Now, most of you will know about the three physical chakras. And so we're looking at the root, we're looking at the sacral, we're looking at the solar plexus, and these are what is known as our physical chakras, our physical body vortexes, energetic portals where energy comes in and energy goes out, and when we process it. And the root chakra is our foundation. It's where we emotionally gauge how safe we feel, how stable we feel, whether we are in comfort or whether we're in discomfort. It's all our security. It's the root chakra is the foundation of our security. How secure do we feel? How safe do we feel? And if that is out of balance, if that is being knocked, and let's not pretend here, there is a lot going on in the world that is intentionally trying to push these three chakras out of balance. It's your responsibility to go, that's not mine. I'm not buying into that. That's your matrix. That's your reality. You carry on. Thank you very much. I'm staying on this path. Your responsibility. Only you can say, I'm not watching that. I am not exposing myself to that. I am not being told to, I am not going to live in an energy of worry and fear. Only you can do that. You get to choose. The second, I'll get my words out. The second chakra is the sacral chakra, and this is all about our creativity, our emotional intelligence. Our sexuality is obviously in there, and that's very, very important. And for a lot of women, there have been lots of traumatic events within your life that could be stored there, especially, well, not especially, at all generations. It hasn't really stopped. Make sure you've done the healing around your sexual identity, both men and women, but mostly women. I mean, the divine feminine has been oppressed for many, many years, and we did kind of it in that suppression. It then went the other way, and it was still an abusive relationship with ourselves, because it went from suppression to expression, but it wasn't an expression that was truly authentically ours. Again, we were sold a paradigm and we ran with it without conscious awareness. And so there's healing there to be done, to bring forth that creativity, to give yourself the permission to be whatever expression of you wants to come out, to gain that emotional intelligence. So you're not being reactive, you're being responsive to certain situations. You are making emotionally balanced, emotionally intelligent decisions for yourself and the way you live your life. And then the third is the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is all about our personal identity. I am. It's that ego. It's the self-esteem, your personality, and balancing when those three chakras are in balance, your ego is in balance. You still got your ego. You've still got that personal identification of who you are, but it's not running the show. It's humble. It's this is who I am, and I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of everybody around me because of their being who they are. They are being authentic. It's not this is who I am and I'm better than everybody else. No, it's not about that. It's about having pride and having that self-love and walking your truth, walking your true identity, being your soul sovereign self, but also having the expansion of love and the equilibrium of that ego to allow everybody else to do the same without feeling challenged or without what's the word I'm looking for, without comparison. There is no need. All of that kind of drops away. It falls away when you are living a consciously intentional life with your chakras balanced, especially these three physical chakras. There is a lot going on in the world, and we do need to go back to basics. We do need to go back and look and do the inner work on these physical aspects of ourselves. Spirituality is just blown out the water, and especially since 2020, it's kind of like it's just exploded. And I have noticed, being on this path and having been on the path for some time, there are a lot of people that are getting a lot of connections, and I'm not denying they're getting their connections. They're connecting with the cosmos, they're connecting with the ethers, they're having these downloads, but unfortunately they haven't done the groundwork. They haven't gone back to basics, and this is what spirit was trying to bring back through me. It's not about pulling people down. It's about reminding all of us to make sure we're checking in with the basic elements and aspects of spirituality. Is our vessel clean and clear? Do we have a regular routine to cleaning our energetic bodies? Do we know how to clean our energetic bodies? Do we know how to check in with our chakras? Are they in balance, or are they needing a recalibration? Is there something in there that has happened that I'm now ready? And this is a key aspect, is remembering that we can pull those chakras into balance, but we can still harbor stuff in there. It will still put it to one side. It will allow you to balance it, but there's still stuff in there that needs uncovering, and it will do that. It's divine timing. It's those layers of the onion. Your onion is still an onion, and your onion will still be completely round, but there's still layers to come off of it. And that's what the best way of looking within our chakras. So it's our responsibility to keep going back, to check in regularly, to have a routine where we go, okay, is our daily practice, is our daily lifestyles, our levels of consciousness, where are they taking us? And I know I put a couple of posts out, I think they're coming out this week, about our levels of consciousness and how we actually keep ourselves accountable and keep evolving. It's not done to keep us small. It's done so that we can actually be the best versions of ourselves. We keep going back so that we can take off another layer. We can become even more authentic. We can step into our power in a much bigger way. And also be honest about where you're at. I mean, I did, and I'm saying that because I did a card reading yesterday with a very a very connected person to spirit. And what transpired was the power, the fear of the power. And I've had that. I did a healing back last year. And again, somebody who is deeply, deeply spiritual, who had a fear of their own power. And let's just look at where those fears are and where they're coming from. Very often it can come from past life experiences. But let's just take the time to look at it, because whilst we're holding those fears, we're not allowing ourselves to grow. We're not allowing ourselves to prosper. And when we're not allowing ourselves to grow and prosper, we are not allowing the full light of the divine to channel through us, to be anchored through us onto the world, to be manifested through us, to assist others. And I'm going to, because in when I was kind of thinking, okay, what is it needs to be done, I was taken back my journal, and I was taken back to a scribble, I'm going to say, because that is what it is. It's a scribble from a meditation a couple of years ago, and it was about the vibrations and consciousness and our moral compass, and living our moral compass by love, by the vibration of love. Everything is vibration. All energy is vibration. Everything exists because of vibration. And so when we rise our energies and our vibrations to love and above, it gives us a much broader platform on which to solidly stand. And the scribble that I actually wrote was a storm. So if you're yo-yoing, if you're fluctuating in your vibrations, and you're going down to fear, and you're going down to guilt, and then you're coming up to love, and then you're going up to joy, and then you're dropping down into fear again, you've got that yo-yo, and basically you have not got that solid foundation. And the visualization I was given in my meditation at that time was boats and ships. So that fluctuation would mean that you're in a boat. So then if chaos comes in the form of a storm, and whether that be a person or a situation, that boat is going to rock and rock and rock, and has the potential to sink if it's a heavy, heavy storm. And yet, if we're in a ship can just batten down, and it can ride out the storm. And this is why it's so important to do the inner work. Ride out the storm. Give yourself the opportunity to have that greater expanse of security from living in those higher vibrations, from taking and making the conscious effort to heal, to reframe mindsets and programs, to make conscious choices of what you expose yourself to in this physical world. It's all down to you. It's all down to me. It's all down to each and every one of us. And the other card that came out, the other thing that came out, and I was told to shuffle the deck, and I was given this card. Out of the darkness, the light is born. The light is powerful enough to survive exposure to the dark side of humanity and remain pure, empowered, and effective. Trust in your spiritual purpose as a light in this world. Trust particularly in your ability to bring purity, order, grace, and light to disorder, chaos, and destruction. And I thought that very poignant, especially with what's going on at the moment. And the other thing I think we need to kind of bring in is to remember for ourselves and to plant the seeds in others that if we all say no together, there is nothing that anybody can do. There's no, and I say that because there was a couple of weeks ago, my brother-in-law was like, oh, they're talking about that they could subscribe us all in, and we all have to go into the military. And I kind of looked at my sister and I raised an eyebrow and I said, well, if everybody just said no, they couldn't shoot everybody for desertion. There would be nobody to pay the taxes. And we need to remember this. We have the power, but we only have the power when we stand together, when we act as one. So if there is a situation that comes up this year that in our hearts, in our minds, in our bodies, that we know is not right, we know it is just because it is a political stance, it is a maneuver of manipulation, and it's about power and it's about money. We know that. Let's stand together and say no. So that was what came out of that. And the other thing that from this, when I was reading through, was the Divine Mother in the form of Padma Sundari is Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, beauty, love, and spiritual enlightenment, represented as a shining lotus, an ancient symbol of spiritual enlightenment. The focus resets pure upon the muddy waters of which it has grown. Lakshmi, divine lotus flower, reminds us that the spiritual light needs a material form through which it can manifest itself into the world. And that really kind of brings me back to where we started, that unfortunately humanity still has the tendency to only take the time to grow and expand when faced with adversity. When we're comfy, we tend not to take action. When we are uncomfy, when that rug is pulled from under our feet, that is when we start to take action. And I'm just as guilty. I don't think one of us could put our hands on our hearts and say that we haven't had that level of complacency at some point in our lives. It is very natural that when we are comfortable, that we keep our heads down and go, just going to enjoy this a little bit. That's a very natural response. But humanity is evolving. And so to help us do that, there will be situations brought to the table that are going to take away that comfort for a little while. And so I implore all of you to go back to basics. Check in with yourself. Check that you're still and you have developed a energetic routine that is like brushing your teeth. It's done daily. You check in with yourselves, you talk with your higher self, you sit with yourself, you ask the deeper, harder questions, you face the darker aspects, you heal them, and you keep taking a step every single day, moving yourself forward and getting yourself into a position where you have a very firm foundation, a very solid foundation where you feel secure even when complete mayhem is reigning around you. You have peace in your heart. You have compassion for what's existing exteriorly, but within you there is peace. Okay, I nearly forgot the questions that I said I was going to put at the end. So the energetic questions and the check-ins that I do with myself is, if it's not real, I don't want it. If it's not in divine timing, then I'll pass on it. If it's not the right energy, then I'm not interested. And as I said earlier, I've really kind of, my inner circle is extremely small because I'm very conscious of what I expose myself to. And if it's not of good intention, I'm not on board. I energy check now. I didn't always do that. It's something that I've recently started doing over the last 6 months or so. I always felt it very intrusive to do that with people. I thought it was a bit of an abuse of power when you can feel energies, but actually I've learned I don't intrude on people's lives or what they've got going on. But I do check the energetic temperature of a person before I invite them into my life now. I do that for me. I don't intrude on what's going on. I don't impose myself. I don't look at they've got going on. I check that they have pure intentions towards me. And those are the only ones I allow in my inner circle. And so I hope that is of help. If you've liked this video, please press that like button. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. Share with your friends. By all means, the more people that this gets out to, the more people we can start to help and support and create a beautiful community of evolution, of emotional intelligence. And if you'd like to work with me, all the details are in the links below. You take care until the next time. Bye-bye.